That's what a Lotus diagram looks like. It's reference to the lotus flower branching out from the middle. And you can see that colours are quite important. The blue branches out from the inner set of 9 cells, and then that's got 8 cells around it. Each of those cells would be an idea. But of course, where do ideas come from? Well, we're going to show you three ways in this short PowerPoint, but we're going to do more than that. Each time we're going to suggest how you might make an idea coming from an original reference in your exploration also part of your research records. And it's highly likely that some of the things that are referenced early in the piece might actually become sources. A research project student would be thinking when they read the text. And the best way to show that is the insert notes or insert comment, where it shifts the comment into the right-hand margin. And so in addition to the text, you've got a note or a comment as to what you were reading as you read that text. And you can see I've got 4 separate comments, and each of the comments is attached to the highlight. And just by way of demonstration, the highlight at the bottom, the red one, might have been more important, hence a slightly more sharp colour. But what does that mean with your Lotus diagram? Well, there we have it. We're branching out into the top cell, and I'm suggesting that this was a geography branch around the topic, and those 4 ideas came from that piece of text. They don't have to be questions at this stage. You can write questions that ideas have come from, and we've got our Lotus diagram starting to be populated under one subject cell. Websites, of course, is another place where ideas can come from. Screenshots are useful, but again, the screenshot itself is not valuable until there are some comments related to it. And you can see this is an example of pointing to specific things on the web image. And again, the young researcher exploring has written some statements about what caught their eye about that particular website, either its content or its functionality. There's some notes down the right-hand side here, not comments, but some notes to think about if you are using this sort of reference to kickstart your project. Always save websites you look for. Any browser has an ability to store bookmarks, and there's just a reminder that we're calling them references at this stage. It doesn't become a source until much later in the piece. Moving ahead, you can now see that website, or the graphic that was captured from the website, has triggered off another couple of ideas. And as before, it can be questions or just general ideas. Speaking of ideas, where else do they come from? Well, in the digital world, there's so much sharing of images and audio recordings. So it's highly likely that these too will be stimulating ideas for a research project. Again, we're trying to capture what the candidate, what the student doing the exploration for their project was thinking at the time. Now, a podcast might go for 15, 20 minutes, but should that become a source, you need to identify, as you would with a book or a magazine or a newspaper article, the bibliographic details. Don't forget to do that right at the get-go. And the other thing about a podcast is there might be a whole lot of material that's not relevant to the early phases of your project. So time codes are very useful, not just for the marker, but for yourself. Once again, back to the Lotus, we're getting focus. And you can see that it's not an idea of one reference, or it's not a case of one reference only giving ideas for one subject cell or one subject branch of the Lotus. And it's probably at this point, with lots of ideas firing, lots of different stimulating references, that you're starting to populate the Lotus diagram in a whole different range of ways. There we have it, 3 alternative types of references, the Lotus diagram being a basis for capturing all of the potential question ideas, and something that comes out of last week, and that is categorizing the ideas under subjects in which you've got expertise.
Gentlemen, the key point arising from this instructional video is that in order to populate your Lotus diagram, it is appropriate and necessary for you to start reading references and to begin annotating them accurately. It is my expectation that you will be able to refer to at least three references before you submit your first version of the Lotus to me. And that, of course, is going to be submitted by Friday.